Hi guys, this is Mike at tabletbuy.com, and we're here today with two of the most sleekest tablets available right now on the market. We have here on the left the Samsung Galaxy Tab 10.1 and on the right the Apple iPad 2, actually, sorry for that. So we're going to compare these two in this particular clip, and we're going to have a quick look at both of them and see which one is actually better. Both of these tablets are actually extremely sleek. The iPad came with this very sleek body, and it made all the other producers step a little bit further with their designs, and Samsung followed with this one, and recently we've seen Toshiba following as well with the AT200. But we're going to talk about this one right now. This one in fact is slimmer and easier and lighter, than the iPad 2, and the iPad weighs like 1.33 pounds, which is like 600 grams, and this one goes for like 1.25 pounds, which is like 560 grams. So only a bit lighter, but still lighter, and it feels quite nice in your hand. It actually feels more lighter than this one. It's also a bit thinner as well, but you're not really going to see the difference between because the difference is of only 0.2 millimeters. So you can't see if one is thinner than the other, but you should know that this one is thinner, measures 8.6 millimeters, while this one measures 8.8 millimeters. So a little bit thinner. On the Samsung is a little bit thinner. Now let's take a quick look at the ports and at the sides. And we're going to start with this part, and what you have. Actually, let's go ahead and see what you have quickly on the Galaxy Tab. And on top you have a volume rocker and the power button, headphone jack, SIM card slot. On the side, one of the speakers. On this other side you have microphone and docking connector, and on this other side the other speakers. So stereo speakers, no SD card, no HDMI, and no USB. On the iPad you have the volume rocker on top and the power button and the microphone. On this other side you have the screen lock latch and the volume rocker. On the bottom the docking connector, and on this other side nothing. And also on the bottom there is the mono speaker, so only one speaker on the iPad, while stereo speakers on this one. So they're pretty much on par. What I wanted to show you is a quick comparison between these buttons, and they're actually quite okay. Let me try and zoom in a little bit. Sorry for that. Okay, so they actually feel quite nice, but the button on the iPad is a little bit better emphasized and feels more solid. These buttons are a bit wobbly here, but they're quite usable as well, and they both feature pretty much the same buttons and the same features. The iPad, this is the Wi-Fi only version, and if you had the 3G version, we had a 3G slot in here. What the iPad features and the Samsung doesn't is a screen lock latch, which is actually quite useful. At least on the iPad I use it quite a lot. Both these tablets offer cameras. There are front-facing cameras, definitely better on the Galaxy Tab. A 2 megapixel front-facing camera next to a 0.3 megapixel front-facing camera on the iPad, and they both offer rear-facing cameras as well. And you have a 3.2 megapixel camera on the Galaxy Tab with a flash LED, and only a 0.8 something like this megapixel camera on the back. Both can shoot 720p clips. However, overall quality is definitely better both for stills and for clips on the Samsung Galaxy Tab. They both feel quite solid in terms of build quality. However, my money are a little bit on the iPad. I like the iPad better, feels more sturdier with this completely aluminum unicase body, while the Samsung Galaxy Tab, it's covered, has some aluminum parts, on the sides are made from aluminum, but the back is made from plastic, and it doesn't feel as solid when held in your hand as tough as this one. So I guess the iPad will be more reliable in time. At least that's how I feel right now. However, I find this one more gripful, so there is better grip on this plastic matte finish. Still, some versions come with a glossy plastic. I wouldn't advise getting one of them. So if you want a Galaxy Tab, better go for one like this with the back covered in matte rubbery plastic. Still, in both cases, I would advise getting a case, some kind of cover that will protect them and can also act as a stand, and they're going to also ensure longer life for your tablets, and also act as this multifunctional devices can use them when watching content or when typing. Now, in terms of screen sizes, the iPad, as you probably know, comes with a 9.7-inch display. This one comes with a 10.1-inch display, and it's 4:3 aspect ratio on the iPad, 16:10 wider aspect ratio on the Samsung. This is why the Samsung is taller, as you can see, but it's also a lot the iPad is also a lot wider, as you can see here. Now, in terms of resolution, both of these feature IPS panel displays. However, they use different technologies. Alright, so we have the screens over here. There's, like I said, a 10.1-inch display on the Galaxy Tab, and it comes with 1280 by 800 pixel resolution, while this one comes with a 1024 by 768 pixel resolution, so definitely smaller. And you can see that the icons are smaller on the Galaxy Tab, and overall details are a little bit smoother, but the screen on this one ain't bad at all. Viewing angles are excellent on both of them. I'm going to have to turn it like this. Excellent viewing angles, as you can see. And in terms of color reproduction, let me have this back here. In terms of color reproduction, both can actually display colors quite well. And let me go ahead, sorry for that, let me go ahead and open a browser and look for some color test images. Color test, and look for some color test in here. Yeah, seems like I couldn't spell this right. Not really used with the keyboard on this one, but definitely more used with the one on the iPad. And let's open the same image and let's see what we got here. So they're both pretty much the same in terms of color reproduction. However, I could say that the iPad offers a little bit more natural colors, where this one on the Galaxy Tab they're a little bit more saturated. But not really going to see the difference here in this particular pic. Let's try another one. Okay, let's see what we got. Let's try this one. You can see that both can load these images quite fast. And both offer excellent color reproduction. So my money would be on the screen on the iPad. I feel that this one is a little bit brighter, and it could be a little bit better when used outside. It's not as glossy. There's not that much glare on this one that is on the iPad, but overall they're pretty much on par, and not really sure if you could pick one or the other. Let's go ahead and see the keyboards like this. Both offer pretty decent keyboards, and they're both pretty usable. Decent layout, similar layout actually. So I'm not really sure if one is better. I'm more familiar with this one, but you can get familiar with this one as well. And there is something I wanted to show you when in portrait mode. Okay, I think that one is locked. In portrait mode, Definitely typing on the iPad, sorry for that, in portrait mode, definitely typing on the iPad seems a little bit better because you have a little bit more space, just because the screen is 4.3 in aspect ratio, which is something quite nice. On the other hand, the Galaxy Tab does offer haptic feedback, which you don't get on the iPad, and this could be helpful when typing as well. Of course, both these devices run their own operating system. The Galaxy Tab is an Android Honeycomb tablet, runs Android Honeycomb 3.1. This one runs iOS 4. And of course, you know that Honeycomb is a lot more customizable. You can add all these widgets, you can personalize your interface. On this one you can only have icons, and you can have a bunch of them grouped in directories like this, so definitely more options here. You can change wallpapers on both of them, but definitely on Honeycomb you can make this one, you can make the interface better suit your needs. Plus this one is not the standard interface, it's Samsung TouchWiz UI, and this one adds a couple of extra improvements. For instance, you have this social hub, which is an excellent app that gets together all your social accounts like Twitter or Facebook or stuff like this, and going to see all your updates. And you have a redesigned Gmail app that you can use to combine different apps together. And of course, the Gmail app and all the Google apps are definitely better on Honeycomb than they are on iOS and on the iPad. However, feels like I feel, and I don't think I'm the only one that feels like that, the iPad is a little bit easier to understand and to master by newbies. It's pretty much straightforward. You get your apps and you get the icons on the homepage, you just press them and they're going to be launched. While on this one it's a bit more complicated. You're going to have a learning curve, which for some might be a little bit steeper. But overall, in terms of OS, this Honeycomb is a little bit better, especially with this enhancement from Samsung. In terms of basic apps, you have the browser, and of course the browser, let's go ahead and open the same page and see which one can load it faster. And the page will be, of course, our blog, tabletbuy.com. It's done. So Samsung Galaxy Tab was a bit faster, and you can see the brightness is a little bit better on the Galaxy Tab. Let me zoom in a little bit. Brightness is a little bit better on the Galaxy Tab than it is on our iPad, but pretty much they're both identical, and you get a bigger layout on this one. Get more information because of the extra layout. Okay, how did I do that? Okay, but overall, pinch to zooming and navigating feels a little bit faster on this way. Yeah, that's because this one, the browser, this one is more complex and supports JavaScript and supports Flash, while this one doesn't. So definitely a better browser on Honeycomb, and you get tabbing navigation, while this one, in order to get tabs, you get to have to go through this intermediary page. So not really the greatest application here. And of course you had Gmail, like I said, is definitely better on iOS. I'm not going to focus that much onto the differences between iOS and Honeycomb. You got all these clips both on our YouTube channel, or on GadgetJM, and on others that will explain you all the differences. Bottom point is, it's up to you to pick what you need: simplicity and straightforward experience, or complexity and all these customizing options. In terms of multimedia content, both these tablets are able to stream YouTube content, and they have YouTube dedicated applications. Let me go ahead and find the one on the iPad. So YouTube dedicated applications, and they're quite nice. And I'm going to go ahead and look for 1080p and 1080p on this one as well. And we'll have this one, the big bunny animation. I like the interface on this one, is a little bit smarter. You can easily pinch to zoom like this, while on this one you have to go and press the tiny icon colors are a little bit oversaturated on this one, but some might like them, sorry. Still, you get, the good part is that you get a couple of profiles. If I'm not mistaken, if you're going to go to settings, and you have here screen, and you have, not this one, you have mode, and you can use between dynamic and standard and movie, and you can, theoretically this will adjust the colors a little bit. I feel like standard is the one with less red saturation. Let me go head back to YouTube. So both can play high quality content. The speakers are quite good on both of them. Stereo on the Samsung Galaxy Tab, and mono speaker on this one. Volume is a little bit better, but I feel that this one has a little bit more bass. So it really depends on what you're going to need. Okay, and in terms of other types of video content, on this one you can use this particular app. It's called Dice Player, and you will be able to play all kinds of content, including 720p, MKV, MOV, MP4, stuff like this. While on the iPad you can't really do this. You have Movies app, Videos app, sorry, and you will be able to play what let's see what we have here. It's a 720p MOV file, and let's play it. But actually, let's pause and let's go ahead and open Dice Player, which we're using on trial right now because it's an application you have to pay for. And open the same 720p MOV file and see which one can play better. See, it takes a little bit of time for this one to actually. Okay. Seems like we managed to block it. So both can play 720p content. The iPad can't even handle 1080p content, and this one can handle it, but it won't play it properly. Basic point, on the iPad it's a lot easier to play the content. You can, using iTunes, you're going to sync your folder, and if the folder contains different types of clips that are not supported by the player, it won't even copy them, and supports MOV and MP4 files. This one, you connect it to the computer, can add all these types of content. However, by default, most of them won't be playable. You're going to have to go to these third-party applications like Mobile Player or Dice Player, which, like I said, is going to cost you some money. And after that, you're going to be able to play all these extra types of content. But for the average user, it's definitely simpler, easier actually, on the iPad to watch video content. Plus, you get access to iTunes, and you can borrow and you can buy content from there. Well, on the Galaxy Tab, not that much. You have the Music Hub, which is like an iTunes for the Galaxy Tab. You're going to find music in there, but you won't have movies. Still, if you're living in the US, I believe you have access to Google Movies, and you can borrow movies from there. But if you're living in some other countries where Google Movies is not yet available, that's actually a problem you can't really solve. As for games and apps, that's the basic problem with Honeycomb and iOS. You have more apps and better apps, better developed, let's say, apps, and they will work better on this particular application, on this particular resolution for the iPad than you get for Honeycomb. Still, apps for Honeycomb are getting better and better. Still, in terms of games, I definitely feel that the iPad is the better pick because you have more titles, and they're better design and overall work better than their versions developed for Honeycomb. In terms of battery life, both offer enough for a complete day, for a full day's work. but I feel like the iPad has an extra edge, and overall it's offers a little bit more battery life, like 10 hours on average use and like 9 hours on this one. Still, they're both pretty much on par. And in terms of prices, they're again on par. They both start at $4.99 right now, and this is a decent price tag for perhaps this is the best, perhaps the best Android tablet right now available on the market with Honeycomb. It's definitely the sleekest and most portable, the most compact. And next to on this other side is probably, actually not probably, for sure, the most popular tablet of all times, the Apple iPad 2. And like I said, for $4.99 you're going to get the 16GB Wi-Fi version. Both will come with 32GB versions and with Wi-Fi and 3G. The Samsung Galaxy Tab is offered subsidized with different carriers, while the iPad is not really offered subsidized by anyone right now. But if you want 3G, you have options for that on both of them. This pretty much wraps up our video comparison of the Samsung Galaxy Tab and the Apple iPad 2. Overall, it's a bit difficult to say which one is the better pick. I feel like for the average user, the iPad is better because it has an easier interface. It's easier to use and to understand straight out of the box, and it has a better developed ecosystem. You get more apps, more games, more multimedia content, and I guess the average person, the average tablet buyer is looking for something like this. On the other side, the Galaxy Tab definitely comes with more customization options, and you can make your OS a little bit, not really sure how to say, a little bit more up to your taste, and you can make it run the applications you want in the way you want, and offers more options than this one. Like I said, with the clips, you can run more types of video content on this one. It's just a bit more complicated to get to run it. You have to buy applications and stuff like this, and this is why I'm not really sure if this is the tablet for the average user. Still, if you want something with Honeycomb, I believe this is one of your best picks, especially if you want something portable. Probably its main rival is going to be the Asus iPad Transformer, and we're going to have a clip comparing it to that one also on the site on tabletbuy.com and on our YouTube account, so better go ahead and check this one. And for more conclusions and more details about these two, you should go on the site on tabletbuy.com. We're going to have the written comparison between the Galaxy Tab 10.1 and the Apple iPad 2. Thank you, that was all for now. If you liked our clip and our work, please subscribe and press thumb up. Mike at tabletbuy.com with the Galaxy 10.1, Galaxy Tab 10.1 and the Apple iPad 2. Thank you.